It's truly a time of celebration. I do love Christmas. I'm a believer. I believe. And I love Christmas. And to just give you a background why I love it so much, I was raised in the Church of the Incarnation. And incarnation literally means God incarnated as us. And our church took great pride in our name. And we would go through the Christmas story talking about God on earth. And we would dissect all the Christmas songs. And we'd say what they meant, how glorious it was for us to understand up until that moment 2,000 years ago, the consciousness, the collective consciousness had God separate from us, apart from us, somewhere out there. And then all of a sudden, something shifted and a consciousness change happened. And we started to accept the idea God with us, God incarnating right here on earth. So I love the story then, because just the idea was so wonderful, and still is today. The idea of that God far away from us is right here where we are. We used to sing all of the songs so slowly, and every word we'd have to say it. O come, Emmanuel. Emmanuel was God in us. Come, Emmanuel. And we would say it with such fervor because we knew it happened. And we would just bring forth the feeling of God's presence on earth. And that presence is called love, it's called peace, it's called joy. It has so many names. But the consciousness story of Easter, the metaphysical meaning of Easter, takes us to a place where we start to understand why we tell the soul story. Because it's a spiritual story, it's a soul story. And we tell it every year because our soul needs that information. I remember last week, Reverend Sandy said part of the angst that we feel is the absence of the sacred. And this is one of our cultural sacred stories. This is a story that anchors us in the idea of divinity and humanity merge and become one. This is a consciousness we've been holding for years. And so I want to retell the story so you understand this is our story. This is a story about all of us collectively moving in consciousness. 2,000 years ago, there was a shift, and the story was focused around Jesus. But it's 2,000 years later, and you can feel it in the culture. We're in a shift. We have AI, we have things going on. We're shifting again. So we're retelling the story with the shift in mind. Shift happens. That's all I want to say on that. But Christmas is a love story, and I want to talk about the story in the way that consciousness we can understand it. So the story starts out with the angel. The angel appears to Mary. If you understand the story as your story, I hope that this talk today will allow you to understand Christmas as something that lives in you. Each and every one of us are here by divine appointment. We are the sons and daughters of God, and that consciousness is being shifted, and we're powerful beings. So when we tell the story, and when I retell the story in our understanding, own it. It's our story. So the angel of the Lord appears unto Mary. An angel is a higher thought. An angel is the consciousness. If an angel appears to you, if you get a higher thought about yourself, a situation you're in, a circumstance that's happening, the angel of the Lord has appeared to you. And so in the story, the angel of the Lord, the higher thought, the shift in consciousness starts to happen. And the angel of the Lord appears unto Mary. And Mary is the part of us that's receptive. When you see the pictures of Mary, she's in prayer as a representation of that part of our soul that is receptive to God, that's open to the divine. And the angel always says, in every story, starts off with, fear not. That's always the first thing the angel says is fear not. Because when a higher thought comes to you, everything that you know is going to shift. And somewhere we know that. So fear not is a good message because it's a reassurance that even in changing times, even in hard times, there's a higher message, there's a truth. So your Mary gets activated when you accept that the divine presence is here. And the angel tells her, you will give birth to the Son of God. Well, fear not on that one. That's a big order, right? So Mary's like, wow, we're in that shift. We are understanding ourselves, all of life, as sons and daughters of God. We have a mission of a world that works for everyone. The moment we start recognizing everyone is an expression, is a son and daughter of God, the angel's message is received, and our Mary gets activated. Then Joseph, who Mary is betrothed to, she's going to marry Joseph, and in the culture, it's a very structured culture, and she's going to marry Joseph, but she first has to tell him, honey, I'm pregnant. And in the story, when you read it biblically, Joseph was a good and honorable man. And he did not want to disgrace Mary because that would have been disgraceful in the culture. And he was really deciding, well, I'll just kind of slip out of it easily, and I won't make a big scene about it. But the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph. And in his dream, he was given information. No, something that seems impossible is possible. If this is your story, whatever seems impossible in your life, whatever seems impossible on this earth, peace on earth, goodwill to all people. It sounds impossible right now with all of the things that are going on. Activate Joseph. It's a possibility. We don't want to believe it because it can seem so grandiose. It's never happened before, but it can happen. And if you can believe that in the midst of everything, there is an infinite wisdom that's going to work things out in a positive way for you personally and for us collectively, your Joseph gets totally activated. And so Joseph then starts to protect the idea. So when someone says, you're this or you're that, don't believe it. Protect the idea that you are here by divine appointment. You are the Christmas child being born. The Christ is being born in you. So that's how Joseph moves into the story. Now, at the time, there was a census being taken, and they had to go to Bethlehem to take the census, and that was because Rome wanted to know who was in the community. I love that part of the story because even in the grandiosity of all of it, we have to take care of business. That's what going to Bethlehem meant, that we have a spiritual understanding, but we're in the world and we take care of the business of the world. But we do it in the way that we move. Joseph and Mary got on Mary got on the donkey and they moved. They moved forward. And that's the movement to Bethlehem. Well, when they get there, Mary is fully pregnant now and just about to give birth. And they're looking for a place that this can happen. And Joseph goes around and tries to find a room or a place for Mary to be comfortable, but there's no room in the inn. And so they are guided to a stable, and it's in that stable that Mary starts to give birth, and the Christ is born. Now, when Jesus is born in the biblical story, angels show up on the scene and they say, peace on earth, goodwill to all people. This is Christ being born in us. Once we grasp the story as our own, this is who we are, this is the message of the story, the possibility, entertain it. This is why I love the story. Peace on earth and goodwill to all people, whoever you are, whatever is going on for you. There's an extension of our divine love and peace possible. So Mary gives birth. The angels give the message of what the birth signifies, the possibility. And then the shepherds who are out in the field, they're working, they're tending their sheep, and they see a light in the sky, and they're looking up. The shepherds represent our busyness, our preoccupation with everything but our spiritual life. If you're too busy, if I'm too busy working, getting this done, getting that done, I'm not looking up. I'm not there. So if you want to activate the Christmas story, stop and do spiritual meditation and practice. Look up and activate the shepherd that's in your heart. I'm willing to get things done, but I need to first go to the source of all life, ground myself in that experience, and then start doing what needs doing. So the shepherd gets activated when we move in that direction. And the shepherds come and they pay homage to the consciousness, the child that's bringing the new message. Then the shepherds leave, and the wise men come. And the wise men are from the east, and the east is where the sun rises. It's a new beginning. And they come bearing gifts. And when they come, they have followed a star. They've looked up and they've seen a star, and they know they're astronomers and astrologers. And so they're looking at the star and they know it portends a special event. So they follow that star, they follow that light. And that's the wisdom, to follow the light. They go follow the light and seek, wow, what could this mean? Something important is happening. I just know this story this year, when I see all the things going on in the world, something important is happening. Something very deep is happening for all of us. We're shifting. We're changing to a global awareness of oneness. Our divinity and our humanity have to come together so we can move forward, so we can follow the star that is over all of humanity, calling us to be that Christ consciousness. And so the wise men, on their way to following the star, they stop in to see the ruler, Herod, who is the ruler of the land. And they tell him, oh, we're following a star. And when we find that star, we know that signifies that there is something happening here, something special. And prophecy has it that a king, a baby king, is being born. Herod tells them, a baby king? Oh, but that is his outer reaction, but his inner reaction is fear. Another king on the block? Mm-mm. So if Herod, he hears the message, he internalizes it, something is going to change, something's going to take over. Herod represents control. When we try to control our lives, control other people, control what's going on out there, and we don't take care of ourselves, our Herod gets activated. And Herod's a meanie. I can tell you in my own life, when Herod gets activated, I really have to do a lot of deep spiritual work, because Herod will present obstacles in me not to believe the story. Herod will say, no, that's not good enough. You're not good enough. This can't be true. It really can't happen. Have you looked at the statistics? Do you understand this? Do you understand the possibility that you're telling me you can be healed, you can be well, you can be rich, you can be kind? Are you telling me that stuff? Let's get a grip in reality. This is Herod's voice. You've heard it. We've all heard it. The culture screams it. It's Santa Claus. It's a diversion. Get more gifts. Do you have the turkey? Herod, Herod, Herod. Distraction. A powerful ruler. But by the birth of this one child who represents our consciousness, that ruler has no power. By understanding who we are, that we have the power of our word, of our hearts united, Herod gets dethroned. Now Herod knows this. Herod's a smarty pants. And he knows he's going to get off the throne. And if you've ever been in a place where you are affirming something and it's not happening, or you're starting to lose faith, or things are not going the way you think they should, you're up against Herod. Our work as religious scientists, what we do is in the midst of that, our deepest work is to affirm we are here by divine appointment. Divinity and humanity meet right where I am, in my heart, in the heart of love. So what happens for the wise men, they are told by an angel, don't go back and tell Herod where this child is. Go another way. And I love that because that's the message I take from it. Go another way. So if something is going on for you and you're losing faith in the culture, the community, the government, the medical industry, we're losing faith in all kinds of things, this is my plea, my greatest Christmas wish. Go another way. I say this to myself. I say to myself, go another way, Janet. Go the way of the story. Go the way of the light. Go the way of the unfolding of the Christ in your own heart. So they go the other way, and Mary and Joseph know that Herod's on the move. So Joseph takes Mary and the baby, and they go to Egypt, and they stay there for 3 years before they go back to Nazareth, because they have to stay safe. We have to be safe with each other. We have to be safe with how we are in the world, how we demonstrate love. I love the kindness shared today, how we come together as a community. And the message of Christmas is there is the infinite presence of love. It is us. Christ is calling us. He said, these and greater things will you do. I believe him. I believe these and greater things we will do. We're doing them now. And so the Christmas message for me comes this year in the song, O come, Emmanuel, and ransom us from captivity, and ransom captive Israel. Israel is when we're captive, we're held captive by outer things and not our inner soul journey. And ransom captive Israel. Come, Emmanuel. And so in that end of the song, it says, rejoice, rejoice. And that's what I'm hoping this message can inspire in you, the idea to rejoice, that Christmas is one of the greatest stories in the world. And it ends with the story of immortal life. It's bookended. I was so raised in it, so steeped in it, that I can't help but love it and to want you to love it and live it. Thank you so much for sharing it with me.